Hi all, Mr. Thomas here, and welcome to another episode of Virtual Geography. Here's a question for you before we start today's lesson. Which do you think releases the most energy? The world's most powerful atomic bomb or the world's most powerful earthquake? We'll look at the answer to that question later on in today's video, but for now, let's introduce today's topic. Today we are looking at earthquakes, the big shaky boys of nature. These are incredibly powerful waves of destruction that stem from the movement of the tectonic plates. So today we are going to be taking an in-depth look at all things earthquake. What an earthquake is, how we measure earthquakes, and then we're going to be moving on to something we call the 3 Ps: prediction, preparation, and protection. So, with that said, let's begin today's learning. So what is an earthquake? Well, the tectonic plates are constantly moving. Sometimes, because of friction, the plates stop moving and become stuck. And as these plates continue to try and move, they build up more and more pressure. Something within the tectonic plates gives way, and all that built up pressure is released in the form of huge waves of energy. These waves of energy cause the ground to violently shake, and we call these waves seismic waves. The point within the Earth's crust where the earthquake originates from is called the focus, and the point directly above that on the Earth's surface is called the epicenter. The power of an earthquake can change for a whole range of reasons. For example, seismic waves tend to be more powerful the closer to the epicenter they are, and the more shallow the focus, the more destructive the earthquake tends to be. It's plug time, baby! Plug time. Plug time. Plug time. Go back and watch last Monday's video on tectonic plate boundaries. I go over the 4 types of plate boundaries and explain at which types of plate boundaries earthquakes can occur. So, pause this one, go watch that one if you haven't already, then come back to this one. Cool? Plug time done. We call the power of an earthquake its magnitude, and up until very recently, magnitude was measured on the Richter scale. However, as the Richter scale is not very accurate at measuring the magnitude of larger earthquakes, this has since been replaced by the MMS, or the moment magnitude scale. Both of these scales are usually numbered 1 to 10. However, there is no actual upper limit to the magnitude of earthquakes. And both of these scales are logarithmic. Logarithmic meaning that the higher end of the scale can sometimes be hundreds of thousands of times greater than the lower end of the scale. So let's explain that a little bit simpler. A magnitude 2 earthquake is 10 times more powerful than a 1. A magnitude 3 earthquake is 100 times more powerful than a 1. A 4 is 1,000 times, a 5 is 10,000 times, a 6 is 100,000 times. It goes on and on and on. Basically, each increase is 10 times larger than the last one. The Tsar Bomba was the largest nuclear payload to ever be detonated. Translating to King of the Bombs, or the Emperor Bomb, the Tsar Bomba was detonated by the USSR on the 30th of October 1961. The energy output of this device would equate to an 8.5 magnitude earthquake. However, the most powerful earthquake to ever happen occurred the year before in Valdivia, Chile, 1960. This earthquake registered as a 9.4 or a 9.6 on the moment magnitude scale. This means that the most powerful earthquake that's ever been recorded is 10 times more powerful than the biggest bomb we've ever detonated. So the moral of the story is, whilst the human race is strong, nature always seems to be more strong or is stronger. So here's today's fun fact. You may think earthquakes are really rare, but in fact they're the complete opposite. They're really, really common. There's around 20,000 earthquakes per year, which equates to just around 50 a day. And there could be potentially millions per year, but they're just too small to be detected. So here's a kind of shout out thing for a Twitter account that I really love, and I recommend you guys go follow it if you're really into earthquakes like I am. They're called @Quake Notices, and they're earthquake events, and basically what they do is they tweet out all their detected earthquake events with their magnitude and location and time, And it's just really cool because it gives you an idea of how common earthquakes actually are. I mean, if you look from the screenshot thing, I've got it on my computer in front of me, it'll be behind me. There's been 4 earthquakes in the past 8 hours alone. So crazy stuff. Definitely go give them a follow. There's a link down in the description below. Go check them out. It's cool. It's really cool, especially if you love geography, like I do. So let's bring it back to the GCSE content. I took it off on a tangent about really cool little earthquake things, but it's back. We're going on about the GCSE stuff now. So magnitude 1 to 3 earthquakes are quite often completely unfeelable. You wouldn't even notice that they're happening. And they're incredibly common too. They make up the majority of all the earthquake events over the year. However, magnitude 7 and above earthquakes are really rare. At the very most, you may have 15 or so in a year. However, when they do occur, they can be incredibly destructive. Scientists use seismometers to detect an earthquake's magnitude. These are small devices that are able to detect movement within the Earth's crust. Scientists can actually use seismometers to detect where an earthquake is likely to occur. They do so by detecting small tremors that are happening within the crust. However, they cannot detect when an earthquake is going to occur with any real reliability. However, some scientists are actually suggesting that we should monitor animal behavior to indicate when an earthquake is going to happen. For example, in the case of the L'Aquila 2009 earthquake, researchers were observing a colony of breeding toads, and it was noted that on the 1st of April 2009, the entire colony of toads just disappeared. 5 days later, on April 6th, a 6.3 magnitude earthquake struck the Italian town of L'Aquila, which was 74 kilometers away from the Toad Lake. Days after the earthquake, the colony of toads returned to their lake and continued on as normal. The researchers believe that the only explanation is that the toads were able to detect changes within their environment prior to the earthquake striking. However, despite our best efforts to predict earthquakes, we must nonetheless prepare for them. In hospitals, emergency services and schools in earthquake-prone countries like Japan, earthquake drills are often practiced much like fire drills are. These earthquake drills allow people to prepare and practice for the event of an earthquake. This reduces the impact of an earthquake and increases their chances of survival. As well as prediction and preparation, we also have protection. Protection comes in the form of earthquake-resistant buildings that are unlikely to collapse in the event of an earthquake. We protect buildings in a number of ways. At the bottom of the building, we can build rubber shock absorbers to absorb the energy from the tremors. Around the building, we can ensure open spaces so that people have space to evacuate. Cross-bracing is a design technique used where diagonal supports crisscross each other and allow the building to withstand seismic activity. And some buildings can even have a huge pendulum within them. This swings out of sync with the earthquake and so keeps the building's center of mass stable during the earthquake, preventing it from toppling over. And so that ends today's lesson. We are going to be looking at a case study of an earthquake in the next lesson, but I don't want to spoil that too much. Just look forward to it. It's going to be really cool. If you want to know what a case study is, check out last Friday's video where I did a case study on the city of Mumbai for urbanization. It's awesome. It's cool. It's great. Just go check it out and look forward to next Monday's case study of a really powerful earthquake. So, with that said, it's time to end today's lesson. As always, there is a worksheet and an answer sheet down in the description below. And with that said, it's time to pack up, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next lesson. Dismissed.
Staying behind after class, I see? Well, welcome to the bloopers and outtakes section. A section I add onto the end of all of my videos to show you that everyone makes mistakes. Learning is hard, and you'll find that from time to time you mess up, and that's completely okay. Without a bit of practice, you can't be perfect. So, to emphasize that point, here are all the funny times I messed up making this video for you today. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the bloopers and outtakes.
Which do you think is the most powerful, or which do you think is the... It's plug time, baby. Plug time. Plug time. Plug time. Yeah. Ah. Oh, that hurt. Oh. Ah. That was stupid. Oh, that really hurt. That was a proper slap. 5 days later, on April 6th, the colony didn't return at that point. We are looking at earthquakes. Today we are looking at earthquakes, nature's big shaky boys. Boys! The big shaky boys of nature.